All right, good morning. The time is currently 4:38 on March 24th, 2026. This is Max with Royalty Performance. And yeah, I want to go ahead and start by giving an update as to where I've been, what I've been doing, and how I've been doing. I'm currently in a bulk. I'm bulking up and I'm actually gaining some weight, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because I'm going to gain muscle out of all of this, but bad because I'm losing definition. And I was just chunky not even like a year ago, and now I'm having to put on the weight, but I'm about to cut it off, so it's all for the better. Other than that, yeah, I've been taking training pretty serious. I had to take a week off for my joints, and I'm still getting back into the full groove of doing my full workouts with the cardio and sauna afterwards, which is going well. But yeah, I have a Tough Mudder coming up. It's a little event, and I just started thinking more and more, and by the end of 2027, I want to become an Ironman triathlete. Um, yeah, I know that's a big thing to say. And again, it's March 24th, so I want to be doing it near the end of next year, so probably about 18 months, and it's going to take everything in me to hit it. And to obtain that goal, but it's something that I'm chasing and I want to go after. So I'm really going to commit to, trying to go after that next year. And I'm going to start by doing this Tough Mudder, and then maybe 3 months after that, I'm going to do a marathon. And then after that, I'm going to start training to do the biking and the swimming, which I'm pretty confident in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that so much. But a main goal of the topic of the video today is programming your life and not just your training schedule. As people, we all have these ideas that, we want to get shredded or we want to get fit. And sometimes we don't even have an idea powerful enough to have us move with action. I always wanted to be fit, but I also knew what it took, and I didn't think I was willing to put in the work, and I never went after it. And then I realized that the consistency to just do the basic things is what's going to take you the furthest. I thought going to the gym, and there's certain exercises that you need to do to become bulk, and it was intimidating, and there's a whole bunch of information overload, so you just don't know where to start. But the truth is the basics are going to take you the furthest. And honestly, if you want to get into fitness, I suggest that you should get into nutrition. I think that's a very easy way to start your fitness journey, is to think, wow, I need to start eating healthier, because I ate the average American diet not even too long ago. You wake up and you eat what you want. It's what sounds good, not, what do I have planned out to eat? And that's the whole thing. You want to have a plan for all of this. And, that plan should start with an idea. The idea should be detailed, and it should have a time period behind it. And it should have reasoning behind it, core reasoning. Why do you want to become fit? Why do you want to eat healthy? How do you want to look? And then once you have that baseline, and even if you don't have that baseline and it's just an arbitrary idea, then you need to put action behind it. Even if it's small, the smallest basic things are what's going to take you the furthest, and a lot of people just don't understand that. Again, I think it's all scary because there's information overload, and especially coming from the fitness people, they critique so hard, especially on Instagram. It's 10% body fat, and so a male with like 35% body fat, that's probably intimidating to him, to be like, oh my god, I have to drop that much weight to be considered fit. And the truth is, no, you don't. The truth is it just takes a small step every day, but you have to continue to take those steps. And that's the thing. How often and how long can you try your hardest doing those basic things without taking your foot off the gas? And that's just such a strong idea to me, and one that's been engraved in my brain through gaming. A lot of my gaming was spent solo queuing, and if you know what that is, you know what that is. It's pretty much you go into a ranked lobby with other teammates, and you're relying on them as well as yourself to win. going into that, okay, the odds are not entirely in my favor of controlling the outcome of this. And that's sort of how life is. You need to realize that you don't control every outcome of life, but what you do control is how hard and how often you show up. And that's how I climbed and how I understood, gaming. I know I don't have every opportunity to take the game within my hands, but I know if I do it consistently and hard enough that the results will show. And truthfully, sometimes you have to work overtime. Sometimes you find yourself so deep and so low that to get to the next point, you have to go above and beyond. And that is hard to hear, but it's the truth. If you're not in a place where you want to be and you feel as if it's harder for you than it is for others to get to that point, it might be. But there's no excuse because you've gotten to yourself to that point. And if you want it bad enough, you'll go get it. It's not motivation. It's like a desire, like a burning desire to go chase something. And yeah, I want to kind of relate this to me doing the Ironman next year. Like, bro, I still hop on the treadmill and I'm sweating and, I'm like kind of tired after walking for 30 minutes on incline. Like, I still have the same challenges that you do. I still have the wants to go eat ice cream as soon as I wake up. I was literally dreaming last night about a Chick-fil-A biscuit. Like, I have these same temptations. The thing is I want it so bad that it's not a want to me anymore. It's a need. I have to do this for me. I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel proud. I want to just go for it, man. And, a lot of people miss that point of that momentum. It took me probably like 4 months within a 7-month transformation to see real progress. But as soon as I saw the progress I liked, I was like, wait, I can actually do this. And I just started going even harder. Nothing could have stopped me. And a lot of that was I went on a 6-week cut. And then I was like, holy crap. If you program your life, you're going to make substantial amount of progress. And just relating it back to that whole idea of programming your life, I didn't know that at the time. I didn't have someone in front of me telling me, you need to do this, this, and this every day, and then you'll start making progress. I didn't know that. I had to change everything. From where I was at to where I wanted to get, I knew I had to change everything. So I started trying everything new. I would wake up, take a cold shower, I'd start eating the same meals over and over, start going to the gym at the same time. And I found what worked for me and what didn't. And a core of it is getting up at the same time, having the same routine when I wake up. And that includes, supplements, going to the gym right after I wake up, which is another part of my schedule, going to the gym, coming home, eating the same breakfast, and then also eating the same dinner and same lunch and going to bed at the same time. I didn't program just a training schedule for me. I programmed my whole life. And that's a part that a lot of people miss is they think, okay, I just need to go to the gym for 2 hours or an hour and a half a day. And if you do that, you will see progress. And I encourage anyone to go do that. But if you want to make substantial amount of progress, then you need to program your life. You need to implement actual structure and discipline. And through doing that, it might feel boring. But to me, I love it. But beyond me, that's how you make progress. Doing things over and over without looking for a reward. You're doing it because it's a part of your routine. And if it's a healthy routine, it's going to promote a healthy lifestyle, which is going to give you good opportunities in life. So, yeah, that's just a huge part that people miss of just You don't need to program your training schedule. That's the easy. Going to the gym is the easiest part about a transformation. It's the going to bed on time, waking up at the same time, eating meals at the same time, staying within your nutritional needs to lose weight if that's your goal. And then for me, eating the same meal at the same time, including the same things, that makes it so easy for me. Like what I was saying about the American diet of waking up and what sounds good, you totally negate that idea. It becomes, okay, what do I have planned for today? And I can even speak on this because recently I had a cheat day. I had 2 cheat days in a row, and that's how I sort of do it. I'll go weeks of doing the same meals over and over, and then I'll just take 2 days to myself to eat whatever I want. And I did that, and you just don't realize how like treacherous that is. It's a trap. It's all a trap. A lot of what I was eating on those cheat days was chocolate. It was these little mini Snickers for Easter. And dude, I could eat like 30 of those nonstop and I would never get full. And on top of that, I the first meal I started it with was a large Domino's pizza. I ate that entire thing in less than 10 minutes. Like that's too much food to be consuming. And see, you just don't realize it because it's so easy to eat. And that's the trap. You need to just ask yourself, what do you really want? And what does it take to get there? And if you want a fit, attractive physique, it takes meal prepping and meal planning. And that's just the sad reality of it. My client had told me on his onboarding call that he was not a big fan of cooking. And I was like I didn't know how to reply to that in the moment. But the truth is that it has to be. I understand not wanting to cook forever, but the more you put in, the more you get out. And, there's an up and down, like yin and yang to everything. If you spend your days cooking and eating correctly, it will show. I just watched this video as soon as I woke up. I opened up Instagram and it was like new protein method dropped, 20 grams of protein each. And it was freaking Taco Bell burritos. And I'm not discrediting the guy. He said he was in a bulk in the comments, but it's like, dude, there's a difference between eating correctly and getting a good physique or dirty bulking and getting the physique that you want. And again, I'm not discrediting him because if that's what he chased, but the whole thing is that if you eat whole foods that you cook, you're going to feel so much better. And I always was told that, and, I never believed it. I thought it was literally just government lies, that we had been fed for so long that if you eat healthy, but it's the complete opposite. The government wants you to eat slop. They want you eating Domino's and Snickers and drumsticks, ice cream, and Wendy's. They want you eating all of that so that you end up in the pharmaceutical industry. It's a sad cycle that you have to break by wanting it bad enough and having goals and intentions that meet those goals. See, people just have that, they throw it out, I want to get fit. But then they're going to go eat the new protein method at Taco Bell. That's not how you do it, in my opinion. I'm not the do-all, say-all, but I know what worked for me and I know how good I feel. And I know what having discipline and structure can get you while doing the correct things. You will feel on top of the world, so clear and so driven, and you will take even more action with that momentum of doing the correct thing, that it will make you just not even want to do the wrong thing. Those cheat days, they're like fun to me almost, but too much fun becomes sickening. The mundane to me is fun now. Waking up at 4 a.m., I'm not gonna lie, I was grueling getting out of bed today. I was not looking forward to it, but I took a shower, and that's not my normal routine, but I did today because my hair was a little oily and I didn't want to show up to the gym like that. And, I'm literally like wanting to like fall asleep almost, but guess what? That's what I love, because I knew when I was going to sleep, I was like, oh my God, the last thing I want to do is sleep right now. And then I thought about that in the shower. I was like, why is it that I don't want to sleep when I'm about to go to sleep, and now when I'm awake, I want to go back to sleep? No, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. So I'm happy to be awake. I'm happy to be alive. I thank the Lord for that. And I want to take that and roll with it. I did the correct thing of having the discipline and structure of waking up today. I took my vitamins. I made my coffee, and now I'm making a video. When I'm thinking about doing these things, I am human. I still have these same dreads, the same temptations as you. Oh, lay in bed. Oh, don't make the YouTube video. But the thing is you feel so much better when you're doing it. You feel rewarded. And that's the key. The mundane soon becomes fun because it feels rewarding. You did the same thing today. Good job. Show up every day and watch where that gets you. That's the part that people miss. And that's why programming your life is so important to becoming the person you want to become. Don't just program a training plan. That's easy. That's so easy. Implement a program into your life. What time do you want to wake up? What do you want to do after you wake up? When do you want to go to the gym? What are you going to eat after the gym? What are you going to eat for lunch? What are you going to eat for dinner? What time are you going to go to bed? What time are you going to lay down? And stick to these. It doesn't have to be an exact, straight on plan, but you need to have a very, very clear idea of the plan. And when I say that, I mean, if you're going to go to bed my goal is usually to be in bed by 7 p.m. I got in bed at 8 p.m. last night. And, I was sort of upset about that, but I'm up now, and it's not like that 1 hour changed everything. And I still count that as part of the plan. And I don't want you thinking that you can skew off. That's the one part that you can skew off. Sacrifice a little bit of sleep by going into bed a little later rather than, waking up an hour later. That's not how that works. So I don't want you to get, misconceived about that. I'm trying to be truthful and authentic here okay, let me just rephrase all of that. Have a plan and stick to it, and then if you skew off the plan, don't beat yourself up over it. Get up and follow the plan again. I keep seeing these videos on Instagram of what do you do after a cheat day? What do you think you're not supposed to, and I do get that question. Let me back it up a little bit. They're pretty much asking, should I punish myself even harder for taking a cheat day? No, your body's going to reflect your consistency, and your plan and programming your life is your consistency. So if you take a cheat day, you need to just get right back on the schedule the next day, or a cheat meal or whatever. Get right back on the schedule after that. Your body's not just going to go, oh my God, he had KFC, throw fat on him. It's not how our body works. Our body's going to reflect our consistency, and our mental will reflect our consistency. People can tell how you're feeling through your face, through your actions. And the best way to represent and show yourself is by being a programmed person, and that's just my opinion. I'm not the do all say all. I'm just trying to sit here and tell you what I know has worked for me. But yeah, this video is coming up on 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I really want to leave you with the message of, if you're finding struggle in your life, and especially if you're already a high performer, but you're seeing yourself lack or slack, and you're looking for that drive, try programming your life. Don't just program your training, program your meals, program what your day looks like, what your weekend looks like, how you want to look in the future, what that program that you're moving towards and implementing is going to have you looking, and start with that. Even if it takes everything in you, Just try one step at a time of implementing that program. Okay, I'm going to wake up today at this time. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up at that same time. Even if I go to bed with sacrificing 8 hours of sleep, even if I have to, if I want to wake up at 8 a.m. and I go to bed at 2 a.m., let me sacrifice this sleep to get up and start implementing my plan. You know, that's how you will make real progress. So yeah, again, this was Max with Royalty Performance. I really hope you got a lot out of this video, and I hope I can keep providing value. And yeah, that's all I want to do. I want to help others. So yeah, I really hope you have a nice day, and God bless you. And yeah, I'll see you. Thank you.